Hey homeschoolers, I'm Melissa Webb, former full-time classroom teacher and homeschool mom turned full-time business CEO and encourager to homeschool families everywhere. I am determined and dedicated to helping you. I want to give you sound, educational, practical tips and advice, at the same time making sure that you're enjoying the family journey that you are on. So if you are looking for a place to be encouraged and inspired, you have found the perfect podcast. Homeschooling is a work of heart is truly the perfect place to start. So welcome. Let's jump in. Well, hello, friend. Hey, happy June. I love a new month. I love change. Do you embrace change? I actually love change. I feel like it's just a new opportunity, and we're moving into a new time of the year, summer. So we've got that season for a lot of us. We do less when it comes to school and educating, although I hope you're continuing some learning even through the summer months. That's the beauty of homeschooling. And I wanted to introduce the Wheel of Life as a potential goal setting framework that you could use now that we're in a new month. So if you are a goal setter, you're going to love this. If you've always wanted to be a little better at setting goals, I think you're going to love this. Or if setting goals is something you've wanted to teach your children, I think you're going to really enjoy this podcast. Setting goals really balances out our life. It also allows for some great family bonding when we set goals as a family, and it allows for character building, which we can start now, of course. We can continue all summer and for the rest of the year. So I hope that while I'm sharing this idea at the start of a new month, I want to encourage you to revisit it monthly or quarterly or maybe yearly, half yearly, whatever works for you. Are you familiar with the Wheel of Life? Have you heard of this? It's actually one of many personal development tools that are out in the world, but I really like this one. I do believe that it helps one assess our life in these 7 key areas, and then allows us to set goals. Have a great family discussion and decide for yourselves what makes the most sense. So who gets credit for this Wheel of Life framework? It was a gentleman by the name of Paul Meyer. He popularized this tool for goal setting, for living a balanced life. But I want to look at it not just as a tool for an adult to do, which is what I think his intention truly was. I think it can absolutely be adapted for children or for families as a whole. So what I thought I'd do today is I'm going to go through all 7. I'll tell you what each one is and kind of why it matters. And then I'll even throw in a few ideas, easy, moderate, and ones that maybe take a little more commitment. And then hopefully you can jot down some ideas. So if you're busy right now unloading the dishwasher or folding laundry, you may want to pause, go get a notebook, and just have a pen and paper ready if I say something that you're like, ooh, we might want to do that. This would be a great podcast to actually take some notes, unless you have a really great memory and you could remember them. And of course, you could always listen to it a second time if you wanted to or needed to. Okay, but those are my suggestions. So let's jump in and get started. So the first area is family. So we're going to focus on time together as our goal, possibly building some new memories, strengthening our family bond connection. And that could look different for so many people. But one really easy thing that you could do is for the month of June, decide that you are going to have dinner in the evening outside at least once a week, right? If you listen to my previous podcast about 1,000 hours outdoors, this would certainly help with that. So why not? That's an easy one. We're going to have dinner together outside once a week. That could be on a picnic blanket. It could be eating around the backyard little campfire. Whatever you see there, make it happen. You also could create a family fun jar. I shared this on my Instagram, stories. You can find it under inspiration on my profile page as well. But a family fun jar is a very simple idea, and it's where everybody gets to sit down together and think of 3 to 5 things you'd like to do this month or maybe this summer. Again, this could be a monthly goal that you're setting. It could be a whole summer long goal that you're setting, completely up to you. It could be so simple. One of your kids could say, I want to build a really great sandcastle at the beach this month. Great. Put down sandcastle. Put it in the jar. Another child could say, I really want to go help at the animal shelter this month. Great. Put it in the jar. It could be anything from activities or things that you want to do around the house. Maybe somebody's been wanting to learn how to build a birdhouse. That could go in the jar. And then after everybody's put in what they're hoping to do, then once a week, you could pull 1 or 2 of those and make those the goal for that week and get them done. So fun, right? Now, another great family bonding goal you could set, but this is going to take a little more commitment, is to do a bigger service project together. Maybe something in your community. Get involved. Or maybe put together a whole group of people to help out with beach cleaning, something like that. Washing cars in the neighborhood, not necessarily doing it for money, but doing it as a family. That's the key, doing something together. It could be doing a 5K together that supports a cause that's important to all of you. Okay, so there's number 1. Number 2, the goal is finances. A lot of times people would think, well, I don't see how that could apply to my child. But finances absolutely could be an area of focus where you teach your children about money habits this month and maybe even come up with some saving goals. So the simplest thing you could do this month is just set the goal that we're going to talk about what are our needs versus what are our wants, and talk about what the difference is there. Need, what do we really need to do versus what do we want to do? And then pay attention to that anytime you're out and about. You're at the store, your child's like, Mom, what can I get this? You could talk about, is that a need? Is that a want? That's just an easy awareness goal that you could set for yourselves. A more moderate goal could be that if your family does want to do something that's going to cost a little more money, why not create a savings jar? And people could add money to it all month long and then see how much money you can save as a family and then decide how you're all going to spend that as a family. An even more committed idea, if your child has always said, I really want to learn how to cook and prep a meal, why not do something like give your children a chance to, 1, create a meal, but they have to come up with the list of ingredients they need. You give them a budget. You take them to the store. They have to stay within their budget. Then they need to come home and prep it and make that meal and serve that meal. There's so many good things that come from children learning to cook in the kitchen. We did this with our kids growing up. Once they were in middle school, they had a night of the week. So like Adam was Thursday nights, and I think Derek was one night on the weekend, and they could make whatever they wanted. And it's so funny because Adam always wanted to make different things, but Derek, he always wanted to make the same thing, which was teriyaki chicken over rice. He got so good at that. He just would make it over and over again. So by all means, it's just a great way to do so much more than just talk about finances, but it really is an eye-opener when children start to realize how much things cost. All right, the third one would be having a career goal in June. So this would be a focus of kind of dreaming big, thinking about possible career opportunities and options. Now, a really easy idea for this would be, again, around a conversation and talk about, what are you thinking right now at your age? We know this could change, but are there some things that kind of light you up or delight you when you think about what you want to do when you're an adult. And let them just dream without any judgment. Just let them dream. And you may even want to write some down depending on the ages of your kids, because some of them are so darn cute. Have that conversation. Again, easy conversation. Let's just talk about things that you might want to do. Right there, if that's your goal, boom, done. Now, if you want to do something a little more moderate, you could go visit or talk to somebody that's doing a job that interests your child. So maybe you have a child who really wants to grow up and be a fire paramedic. There's every opportunity you have to go to a fire station this summer. Or maybe you have a child who wants to be a veterinarian. Make a call, see if you could go in and help out or just drop by and talk to somebody. A more committed idea is you could actually start a little mini business as a family or get your child started in a business. We had a summer when Derek really wanted to earn some money, and he said, how about a lemonade stand? And I said, out where we live, because we're kind of out there in the country, we're not going to get a lot of traction. What else could we do? And we had come up with, I had just started making my own laundry detergent without all the additives and colors and scents and all that. And I said, do you want to help me do this? And so we had this little mini family business making our own laundry detergent and then selling it. And then I just let him keep the proceeds minus the cost of what we needed to make it. And again, I think that kind of stirred the entrepreneur in him, because even to this day, he still has that mindset. Okay, the fourth one is to set a social goal. So the focus here is building friendships, maybe hosting an event, practicing kindness. This could be so simple as, let's have some friends over and we're going to have an ice cream sundae. And you provide the ice cream, or you could have everybody bring a different thing. Somebody brings the bananas, somebody brings the vanilla ice cream. And so it's a social event, but there again is so much more is happening by building friendships and hosting something at your home. You also could just set up a weekly meetup this month. Just say, we're not going to commit to this all summer, but we are for 1 month. We're going to meet at the park early Friday mornings when it's cooler, and we're going to stay for 2 hours. Bring frisbees, something like that is a fun social goal you could set. Or you could even, something more committed, is have a neighborhood game night where people from your neighborhood, hopefully you know at least 2 to 3 of your neighbors that, or close friends, that you could just say, hey, bring your favorite game, and set up a few different tables so that it's not one huge game, although that can be fun too. But you could have 3 or 4 games running, and then you could set a timer for 30 minutes, and then you have to switch to a new game. We would always do this for New Year's Eve, and I would usually have 4 or 5 game areas set up, and it was fun. It was very active, and the kids loved it. So consider something like that for a social goal. Number 5 would be to set a physical goal. That's super easy, I think, to do in the summer. You're focusing on health and energy, activity. So you could, again, keep it super simple. We go on a family walk after dinner at least 4 nights a week. It's a physical goal. And remember, the best goals are ones you can measure. You can say we did it or we didn't do it. If you just say just walk this month, does that mean once or does that mean 15 times? So try to be specific so that you really have something that you can measure. You also could create like a family fitness challenge this month. Some of you I know have already done things like this, and it's a super fun thing to do, whether it could be running, it could be push-ups, sit-ups. Create some kind of a fitness challenge. Mark where you are at the beginning, and then everybody works on their own, and then midway through you do it again. How's everybody doing? Are you running faster? Can you do more sit-ups, more push-ups? And then do it again at the end. You also could do something together again on the more committed thing where you could do an event like a 5K that's happening in your area, especially if it's connected to a charity that really matters to you. That would be a great thing that the whole family could do. So you can always consider something like that. The sixth area for focus is on an intellectual goal. This is one of my favorites, and I really want you to keep it going this summer, but it's one that focuses on love of learning, getting curious, allowing your brain to just do some creative thinking. So an easy thing would be, hey, you know what we're going to commit to this month? We're going to go to the library every Tuesday, and we're going to turn in 1 week's books, and we're going to get a next week's set of books. I do not want us to lose our libraries. I know everything is so accessible, like on our Kindles, but libraries are important. So I really hope you go get some handheld books there and do that on a regular basis. What are you curious about? Allow just the love of learning to blossom. This would also be a great one that you could choose a family book that you all read aloud. Is there like a Robinson Crusoe or like some of the classics that you could enjoy as a whole family? And people could even take turns in the reading, or if one person just loves to read or others just love to listen, figure it out. But do a commitment to a read aloud book for the month. If you're doing it in a month, you're going to have to figure out how many chapters are in that book, and then how many chapters do we need to read every week, and then how will that work out to how many days during the week should we be reading to get this book done. Without those really structured, specific goals, it's easy to say, oh, we started a book, but we never finished it. The goal is to finish it. So you have to make a plan. Goals require plans. So plan it out and then stick to that commitment. I also love the idea of a monthly family learning theme. So it could be beach theme for June or a travel theme. And it could be anything around that. You could watch documentaries. You could go to the library and get books on the topic. If you're interested in travel, each person could pick a different place they'd love to travel and then learn about it and then tell the rest of the family about it. So much you could do with this intellectual goal. And then finally, the seventh area for growth is spiritual growth. So the focus here is on gratitude, faith, inner growth. And there are, again, so many things you could do. The most simple thing would probably be at the dinner table to set aside how many days a week, at least once a week, maybe every night. Share one daily gratitude. Just something that happened during that day, a person maybe that you're grateful for in your life. It could be something that happened to you. It could be just the realization of something you have and appreciate. There's so many directions you could go with that. If you wanted to do something a little bit more moderate, you could work on memorizing a Bible verse. And every week you have a new verse, and it could be every individual has a verse, or you could just work on memorizing one family Bible verse together, which I think would be really wonderful. If you wanted to do something super committed in this area, you could set aside one night or multiple nights a week where you do a family devotion together, where you learn and practice something, a story from the Bible, some kind of a Bible study, something of that sort that you do regularly throughout the whole month, and just see what that does for your family as well. Here's the thing I want to remind you, there are 7, and that is a lot. Just a quick little recap. There are family goals, financial goals, career goals, social goals, physical goals, intellectual goals, and spiritual goals. All 7 make up the wheel of life. But I do not want you to overcommit and think that doing all 7 at one time I know some of you are so ambitious. Some of you could do it. I have no doubt you could do it. But our goal is not to overwhelm our kids. So the goal really, in my opinion, is to look at all of those areas and see, is there any one that you feel weaker in and any area that you feel stronger in? If you listen to all of those and you're like, oh, we've got physical down, we're one of the most physical families you could ever meet, then you probably don't need to set another physical goal. You probably are already doing a lot of things around that area. But maybe right now, when I just hit on spiritual, you're like, I've really wanted to do that, but we've just gotten so busy. Well, maybe now's the time. I recommend, my biggest tip for you is to pick an area that you feel the weakest in, maybe 2, maybe 3 at most, and just give those areas a shot for the month. And let your kids help. They will be more engaged if they feel they got a say in it. You may even want to use some kind of a visual tracker, like a calendar or a sticker chart. If you have a blackboard, whiteboard in your kitchen, create something, again, so that you can measure and also be reminded. You know what they say, out of sight, out of mind. So we don't want that to happen. I hope that you are going to celebrate this opportunity that a new month provides. And not just a new month, but we have a new season as we go into the summer season together. It's a chance to grow as a family. You're not just homeschooling. You are somebody who is life schooling your children. So I just want to encourage you to do something, whether you start with baby steps or you do something bold. Anything and everything counts. And I would love for you to share any of your June goals with me on Instagram or Facebook. And I have to say, if one of your intellectual goals is to use this golden season of summer to get caught up on writing so that your child can confidently write a structured essay at the start of the new year, I have programs. This summer, we have our WOW Essay Essentials, and I'm even doing a live virtual meeting once a week to meet with the kids and hear what they're writing. So it's a nice accountability piece. If that's something you're interested in, you can head to our website, which is writeonweb.com. That's 2 B's, like my last name. And yeah, by all means, I'll also link it in the show notes. How's that? All right. Have a wonderful, goal-centered summer that's filled with amazing opportunities that months from now you look back and say, those were some of the best days that 2025 offered us. Take care, my friends, and ride on. Well, thanks so much for tuning in and listening this week. Hey, if this was something that you found valuable, don't forget you want to subscribe or follow so that every time a new episode is dropped, you'll be the first to know. And hey, before you go, if you are looking to get some of this academic writing under your belt and outsourced so that it's one less thing freeing you up to enjoy more time with your family, hey, you're going to want to head over to writeonweb.com to see what kinds of resources and materials I have available for you. I will look forward to seeing you there, and I will look forward to seeing you here in our next episode. Right on.